Good evening. Were you scared? Today, I started the day off quite high, 21.3. Now, sorry, let me get out of the way for you. Come on, focus. There, 10.3? 9, sorry. Hard to read upside down. Now, most diabetics or parents of diabetics or some of the general public know that blood sugars ideally want to be between 4 and about 10. I can remember years ago when I'd go to work, if I start the day off at a normal blood sugar or just over it, I could bring it down with some insulin, and then the whole day just went like that. If my blood sugar was higher, could hardly wait to get through with the day. Low, I'd be and wanting to do stuff, but the stuff I was doing wasn't right. So ideally, if you're a high blood sugar, or what we call hyperglycemia, excuse me, you want to bring it down slowly. You don't want to do this. You don't want to end up giving up too much insulin. One is you're going to start feeling shaky, sweaty, all sorts of fun stuff. But if you go down, and if your body is doing this all the time, you're going to start feeling it. You're going to be tired. For example, today, as I said, I started off 21.3, came down to 6, and as I was kind of dropping in the afternoon, I was just so tired. I napped. Instead of making video, I napped. Oh my God. So, having a high blood sugar just doesn't mean you give yourself a whole bunch of insulin. Sorry. Now you may have noticed, if you had watched some of these videos beforehand, is that I didn't follow my guidelines. My stomach was causing issues, and so my blood sugar went up, but it kept going up, and I ended up having to give a whole bunch of insulin to bring it down. This is my graphics, to bring it down. There were a few times I had a low blood sugar, but not on the whole. We have to be careful in figuring out the correction. Now, the general rule is if you're doing a correction, you have to do 3. You can't repeat it within 3 hours. Why? Well, you're going to start ODing on insulin. And nothing is worse than having a whole bunch of insulin in your system. Excuse me. You don't want to have too much insulin in your body. If you do, your endo could go low. And if you're low, you're going to end up having shakes, the sweats, the heart palpitation. I used to get like your mouth was frozen, tingling around here. Another symptom I got was one of my eyes would go blurry, so I'd end up having to watch TV like this. But it never really occurred to me that it was because I was low. But you can progress. And you could end up having a seizure. And a seizure just is not fun. You're going to end up, this is normal. Otherwise, you'd end up in convulsions. And that wouldn't be a fun video for you. But you've got to remember that your body likes things stable. Now, obviously, when you eat, your blood sugar will go up and it should come down. But ideally, you want to be between the normal ranges. We talked about what could happen with low. I should also add that you could end up going unconscious. And a seizure could still happen when you're unconscious. Don't forget that. Now, on the high side, hyperglycemic is no fun either. I know for me, anything over 13, I go I need to use the washroom. Oh, I'm thirsty. Oh, this. Oh, all the symptoms. And I think type 1 diabetics know these too well. So you need to ensure that you take care of yourself. And if you start showing ketones, call the doctor. Or ideally now there's blood test strips that you can get and a special monitor that you can put them in, and you can find out whether you have ketones or not. Now, if you're on an insulin pump, you can go into DKA very quickly. So, if you're starting to feel thirsty or low, do a test. Excuse me, I have something in my throat today. If you're over 14 millimoles, then you know what? You need to test for ketones. If you start to show a high percentage of ketones in your blood or even in your urine, contact your doctor. You're probably going to need a little bit more insulin. However, talk it over with your doctor. I am not a doctor. I am a type 1 diabetic who's lived through these things. So don't just assume because I said so, that's not the best action. Contact your doctor, your diabetic nurse, or your educator. So, do what you can to stay pretty even keel between 4 and 10. Trust me, you'll start feeling better. You'll have mental clarity. And I think we all know what that means. If you have a high blood sugar, you should be taking tests because I believe someone, I can't remember who it was, did a test and found out people with high blood sugars scored lower. Take care of yourself. Have a great night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now. Do 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 do.